in Uncanny X-Men 20 miles outside of Trinea. Several of the X-Men, including Storm, Polaris, Jubilee, Nightcrawler, Psylocke, and Cannonball, attempt to quell a riot. The locals are going at it with the law enforcement as the Four Horsemen Magneto has stripped the people of all their weapons, and they all blame each other for Magneto's presence. As the X-Men attempt to quell the riot, the Four Horsemen Magneto and Angel look on at all the devastation as they hover in the sky. But elsewhere, the omnipotent X-Men Nathan Gray has Apocalypse, Kitty Pryde, and the anti-mutant Senator Allen in captivity as he seeks their counsel. Now, Apocalypse isn't happy to be in captivity, but he tells Nathan that if he was in his position, he would start by purging all the false idols of this world. Nathan says he'll give it a try. Across the world, in a spectacular light show, you see religious buildings disappear. To the Vatican City, to the Mecca, Saudi Arabia, to Imperium, India. Nate tells the council it's done as Kitty looks at him and asks what the fuck did he even do. As he tells Kitty he purged all the false idols across the world, Kitty accuses him of being psychotic. But Nate tells Kitty when he sought Apocalypse counsel, she did not speak out in opposition. Kitty starts ranting, so he binds her mouth with light while turning to Senator Allen and asking him what would he like to see done. Meanwhile, in the Gulf of Mexico, 50 miles off the Louisiana coast, Jean Grey and another group of X-Men, including North Star, X-23, Iceman, and Bishop, are rescuing civilians off an oil tanker. But as the last of the civilians are rescued, a huge island of vegetation starts to overtake the oil tanker. Now, originally, this group was dealing with the Four Horsemen, Omega Red, and the Blob. But some of the X-Men are confused as to whether Blob is still just a fat guy, as they know Omega Red is not capable of this. They make their way through the island as they try to make sense of all the things that are occurring around them. But elsewhere, at the Xavier Institute of Mutant Education and Outreach, we find Beast in his lab as he's investigating a thief that stole a vaccine from his fridge. Beast runs a database scan using weight, height, build, posture, and movements to try to give him a list of all potential matches. But elsewhere, outside the Xavier Institute, Glob has collected Jamie Madrox, the Multiple Man, as Jamie is vital to Legion's plan to stop the X-Men Nathan Gray. But as the Institute has been destroyed by the Four Horsemen, they get to work clearing the rubble as they need to get to Cerebro. Now Legion is happy to see Jamie and he gives him a hug and apologizes for kidnapping him. But Jamie pushes him off and tells him he's only here to help the kids. After some time, they manage to get into the room where Cerebro is being stored. Legion plans to use Cerebro to locate Nate Gray, but some of the X-Men have their doubts. But Legion basically explains that he hasn't been located because as an Omega level mutant, he operates and vibrates on a different frequency. Basically, it takes a near Omega level mutant to find one. Legion uses Cerebro to reach out, and he does find someone that he claims to be the man they're looking for. As Glob, Pixie, Armor, and Rockslide look at Legion, he walks out telling the young X-Men it's time to go save the world. But back in the outside of Trinea, the X-Men still fight the civilians as they're trying to keep the civilian population from killing each other. As the Four Horsemen Magneto and Angel still look on from the sky, Polaris flies in the air to have a conversation with Magneto. She asks where's the X-Men Nate Gray and why do you hold him in such a high regard to the point where you would build such a tacky tribute to him. Magneto tries to convince Polaris to stand down and to leave the tribute alone, but Polaris destroys the tribute and that really pisses Magneto off. Meanwhile, as Storm, Cannonball, and Psylocke are on the ground, Storm tells Cannonball he's up, and Cannonball launches into the sky and grabs Angel and pushes him all the way into space. But as Angel gasps for air in space, Storm and Polaris engage Magneto on the ground in a spectacular light show of electricity. Cannonball puts Angel down where he ends up crashing into the rubble, where he's then confronted by Psylocke. Psylocke tries to convince Angel to snap out of it, as before this whole Four Horsemen thing, Angel and Psylocke were a couple. But Angel can't snap out of it, as he tells her all the death, destruction, and pain is all part of the cycle of rebirth. Angel pleads with Psylocke to come over to his side, but Psylocke apologizes in advance for what she's about to do. Psylocke uses the sword she manifests with her psionic abilities to cut Angel down, as she apologizes, as she doesn't see any other way. Now this works, as it serves to release the dark persona of Angel, which is known as Archangel. To be continued.